Hello there. Liz Truss' short time at Downing Street could soon be over. After days of chaos and criticism from all sides, she calls on government experienced Jeremy Hunt for help. In London, however, one asked oneself above all, how much longer can Truss hold out? And history repeats itself, sometimes anyway. When former British Prime Minister John Major fired his Chancellor of the Exchequer Norman Lamont in 1993 after his country's humiliating exit from the European exchange rate mechanism, the ERM, the ousted man left behind a quip that describes not only the then, but also the current government in London quite well. We give the impression of being in office, but not in power. Liz Truss is still Prime Minister of Great Britain, but she has long since lost power. Under massive pressure from the financial markets, she has dismissed her friend and like-minded Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng and appointed her former political rival Jeremy Hunt as his successor, making him the most powerful politician in the United Kingdom at the moment. Politically, Truss would not survive a quarrel with her new treasurer. She's only head of government in name. Politically, she is a dead woman walking. The British Daily Mail has already speculated that Truss could be disposed this week and reported a planned vote of no confidence. Within 24 hours, the new finance minister tore apart his prime minister's economic policy agenda, known as Trussonomics, the heart of her government. Growth with tax cuts on credit turned into an austerity course with spending cuts and tax increases overnight. Great Britain is also facing severe cuts in social benefits, which Truss had ruled out in Parliament just a few days ago. The Prime Minister herself had to announce that the top tax rate would not be lowered and that corporate taxes would be increased. Hunt now also wants to cut government spending and does not rule out further tax increases. The income tax relief announced by Truss and Kwarteng for April 2023 is reportedly already up for grabs. However, more than just Truss' failed mission of economically liberal jihadists, their rebellion against the laws of economic gravity was basically the last failed attempt by the Brexit fanatics to let the leaden exit from the EU lead to the golden epoch of a global Britain, as they always put it. The island kingdom is slowly emerging from a surreal political hypnosis that the Tories have been using to fool the country since the 2016 Brexit referendum. Their battle cry, "Take back control," is likely to get stuck in the throats of Brexit supporters at the latest, after the international financial markets have reprimanded them. Britain needs a fresh start. New elections would be the best way out of the misery. But they are more than unlikely, even if the situation is as it is. After just a few weeks, British Prime Minister Liz Truss is faced with the shards of her government policy of tax cuts. After several U-turns and the sacking of her confidant and Finance Minister Kwasi Kwarteng, the successor to ex-Prime Minister Boris Johnson appointed, as you all know, Jeremy Hunt, who has experience in government, as the new Chancellor of the Exchequer. He should become the savior in need, but already indicated at the weekend that Truss' most important plans in tax and budget issues would have to be changed. This means that the UK finds itself in the next government crisis less than 6 weeks after the change in Downing Street. At that time, Truss succeeded Johnson, who had become unbearable for his party in the wake of the Partygate scandal and much more. And Truss had previously prevailed in an internal party election against Rishi Sunak and other top conservative politicians, primarily by promising massive tax cuts. By the way, Hunt as well. However, there was no counter-financing for these tax plans. The financial markets reacted with severe turbulence. As a result, Truss made several U-turns. First, she took back the abolition of the top tax rate. Then on Friday, she not only said goodbye to the Chancellor of the Exchequer Kwarteng, but also to a planned tax cut for corporate tax. And now, former Secretary of State and Health Jeremy Hunt is supposed to pull the coals out of the fire for the ailing Prime Minister. He shares her desire to build a high-growth, low-tax economy. That's what Truss wrote in an opinion piece in The Sun. In his first interview in this new position at Sky News on Saturday, Hunt said it was a great honor to be the new Chancellor of the Exchequer. But I want to be honest with people. We have some very difficult decisions ahead of us. You heard that from me, but I have to repeat that. It's important. Hunt reiterates that point over the weekend, and he also openly acknowledged mistakes by the Truss government. The pursuit of economic growth is correct, he said in a statement. But we went too far too fast, he said, referring to Truss' controversial economic policy. His focus is on growth based on stability. At the same time, he agreed with his compatriots on further changes to the tax plans of the Prime Minister. Some taxes won't go down as fast as people want. Some taxes will go up, he told Sky News. However, he has not yet announced any concrete steps until I filmed this. On Sunday afternoon, he was with Truss at the Chequers estate for the first time to discuss the economic plans. What is certain is that Hunt must now practically completely realign British economic policy. Ultimately, he could tear down the entire construct that gave Truss the victory over Sunak. The rescuer could thus become a gravedigger and politically play himself back to the front row. He's already considered in London to be the most powerful politician in government. However, Truss is still in charge. That's what he assured the BBC on Sunday, and the fact that the new Chancellor of the Exchequer has to emphasize that already speaks a lot of words. In any case, criticism is constantly pouring down on Truss. Even US President Joe Biden seemed to agree. You might have seen my video this morning. During a visit to the US state of Oregon on Saturday evening, he said he did not agree with the approach of introducing tax cuts for the super rich in times like these. I wasn't the only one who thought this was a mistake, he said. However, it's not up to him, but to Great Britain to judge. The Conservative Tories are already thinking more or less loudly about Truss' downfall. Former Chancellor of the Exchequer George Osborne told Channel 4 on Sunday that she was most likely to fall before Christmas. And Tory MP Crispin Blunt was even clearer on the broadcaster. "No, I think the game is over," he said when asked if Truss could survive politically. The question now is how her successor will be arranged. As The Observer reported on Sunday, a group of high-ranking Tory MPs want to meet today, when I'm filming this, to discuss the future of the head of government. Some want her to throw the towel in the next few days. Others say she can hold office but not control. And a possible departure would lead to another, potentially far greater problem for the Conservatives. Should she be chased out of office, an early election would probably become inevitable. But there is a big problem here, because in polls they are well behind the opposition Labour Party. So the rescue of Truss could in fact become a rescue of the Tories themselves. So they are in quite a vicious circle at the moment. And I really don't know how they want to break free from that one. The only rescue for the Tory party is to go into these elections and rebuild the party from within. I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.